In this video, we're going to go through how to create an estimate and why to create an estimate. You want to think about estimates as quotes. Sometimes people call them quotes in their industry. Sometimes people call them work orders. It's basically a non-posting transaction. It is a way for your customer to get the information on how much this will cost them, how much your services will cost, how much the parts you sell them are going to cost. And you can give it to them so that they have a quote, they know how much they're going to owe, how much they're going to need to pay, and then they can tell you to go ahead with the order or, not, hopefully to go ahead with the order. So think of estimates as quotes. Again, they're non-posting transactions, and they're there just so that you can give the example to the customer before they actually place the order. You wouldn't want to create an invoice and modify it and modify it and modify it with all the changes that they're having, right? So an estimate gives us a way to do that. All right, so first things first, if you don't see estimate on your home page here, that means that it's not turned on in your QuickBooks file yet, so you need to be logged in as admin and you want to go up to Edit and Preferences, okay? It's always confusing to go through all of these different items, so I always remember I'm changing my desktop, something about my desktop, so I'm going to click on Desktop and click on Company Preferences and go on down to Estimates, all right? Where it says, do you create estimates here? You want to say yes. Okay, and we're going to say okay. So there we go. Now you're going to have estimates on your desktop. So you're going to go ahead and click in on there. All right, estimates can be customized just the same as the invoices can be customized. You can define what you want to show on here, what you want printed for your client to see, what you want your client not to see. You can do that up under Customize, Customize Data Layout. Decide all the information that you want them to see, okay? Including your custom fields. Just be sure and watch those other videos. All right, so we're going to do an estimate for Dan Tedford, okay? Again, I use Tab to go through all the different fields. It's my favorite way to navigate through QuickBooks because it takes me through everything I need. So I put in the customer job, Tab, is this an active estimate? Yes, it is, because we're just creating it. What's my class on this? Let's go ahead and change revenue. All right. Which template am I going to be using? We're just going to leave it at this for now. What's the date of this invoice? What's the date of this estimate? What's the estimate number? What's the name and address? Get down to the items. We're going to add a couple of items in here. Concrete, 20, 15. Okay. You can have a markup in here. So it's going to, we are estimating that it costs $15. So we're going to mark it up by 50%. Oops, I did $50. If you do it flat like that, it's going to be $50, but mark it by 50%. Okay, and we'll choose some siding, and it's going to be 15 hours at $20 an hour and mark up at 50%. All right, so total estimate $900. Okay, now from here, we can email this to the client. We can print it out. Okay, we can print it and give it over to the client so that they can review it and decide if they want to go forward with the estimate. Now, the nice thing about putting in an estimate is you can run estimate to actual reports, and we have a different section, a different video on that. You can also, straight from here, you can go in and create an invoice. So if they say, sure, let's go, let's do it, go ahead and create the invoice straight from the screen. You can also go in and create a sales order straight from the screen, purchase order straight from the screen. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the invoice. All right. It's going to ask you here, do you want to invoice for all of it, the 100% of the estimate, or you're going to invoice for maybe half up front, or you want to select some items to invoice for, but we're just going to go ahead and create the invoice for all right now. We're not talking about progress invoicing in this video. Okay. It creates the invoice right here for us. Everything is good. We say save and close. All right. Now when we go into our estimates here, we look at our previous estimate. We know that this has been invoiced. We're all done with this estimate. Nothing else is going to be changed. You would come in here and uncheck that the estimate is active. So you could make it inactive, meaning we don't need to do anything with this estimate anymore. The other thing that you can do is you can come in here and let's say we want to add some additional things. So add some masonry work. We're going to add $50 and it's going to take $50 an hour, 50% markup. All right. And we're going to go ahead and say save on this. Okay. Now it's going to ask us when we say save, it's going to say, do you want to add a change order to your original estimate? Okay, so basically you have this choice. You can add a change order stamp here. So I'm going to go ahead and say add for now so you can see what it looks like. All right. So now when I do my print preview, notice here it adds this change order stamp here so that the customer knows all along the way what things have changed. Okay, so it's the same estimate. Something was changed though since it was originally saved, and here's what it was. All right. So that is how to create an estimate.